morning, I'm Sean Yao and this is One News Now. President Duterte downplayed accusations that his administration's war against drugs paved the way for the commission of crimes against humanity. To discuss the highlights of the president's latest address, we have Maricel Halili joining us live from Mandaluyong. Hi, Mase. What was the president's reaction? With the ICC findings sufficient basis to believe that crimes against humanity were indeed committed under his administration or under his term?
Yeah, Sean, during his public address last night, the president mentioned in passing the International Criminal Court. Although he did not elaborate the case per se, he did mention that he never ordered anybody to kill anyone, and he did not murder anyone, even those who are involved in illegal drugs. But he reiterated his position or his instruction to law enforcers to defend themselves if need be, especially during drug operations.
All right, let's move on to another issue. Mase, President Duterte seems to be blaming the Toll Regulatory Board, or the TRB, for the glitches that marred this implementation of all cashless payments and tollways. I'm talking specifically about NLEX. What's the reason for this?
He did mention about it, Sean, last night. President Duterte said that he is really frustrated with how the Toll Regulatory Board is handling the situation in the tollways, especially it caused traffic in several cities, particularly in Valenzuela. He said that he understands how Valenzuela Mayor Gatchalian feels, especially during the implementation of the cashless toll fees. The president called the head of TRB as inutile because they allegedly, or they allowed the implementation of cashless tolls without even preparing for it. He said that these leaders or the head of TRB did not even conducted the dry run for the implementation, so it's a failure. So he said that if these leaders of the regulatory board continue to do these things or being irresponsible in their mandate, it's better to resign and not to wait for his decision to fire them all.
The president also discussed how we can possibly avoid a post-holiday surge in COVID-19 cases. Can you talk us through the president's advice, Mase?
Yes, Sean. The government officials has repeatedly said that we have to follow the minimum health standard. The president last night personally called on the public to avoid gathering and, like I said, following the minimum health standard, wearing a face mask, face shields, implementation of social distancing. And he also advised those inaanaks not to ask the ninongs and ninangs for aguinaldo this year because we have been celebrating Christmas for several years already. So just spare this Christmas from the aguinaldos to avoid social distancing and contact, especially those outside the houses. And once again, Malacanang has reiterated the call to avoid Christmas gatherings, videokes, and the usage of trumpets or torotot. Even it's part of the tradition. Of course, they want to avoid the spread of virus.
He also had some advice for the healthcare industry, saying or giving tips on how they should brace for this possible surge in COVID-19 cases post-holiday. What did he say about that?
Yes, Sean, as we all know, the Octa Research has already announced their analysis that there is a possibility that the number of cases or COVID cases in the country may reach 500,000 by the end of December. And the health department did not deny the possibility of the surge of COVID cases because of the holiday season. And so they actually asked the hospitals, particularly the private hospitals, to add beds and mechanical ventilators to ensure that we have enough spaces for possible COVID cases, and at the same time, they also asked the local government units to prepare for more isolation centers for possible additional cases of COVID.
All right, last question, Basa, before we let you go. We have vaccine czar Charlie Galvez saying the first batch of vaccines could possibly arrive in the Philippines as early as March next year. So just a few more months. How many doses would this first batch have, and who would be prioritized for the first batch of vaccinations?
Sean, actually, Secretary Galvez was referring to Sinovac, a vaccine from China. He mentioned last night that they expect that by first quarter of next year, probably we will be able to acquire supply from Sinovac because we already have commitment from the Embassy of China. On the second quarter of next year, probably some vaccines from Pfizer and AstraZeneca may also give us additional supply. Now, if the government will be able to secure contract from these vaccines, particularly Sinovac, Gamaleya, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson's, probably we can secure more or less 60 million doses of vaccine, which is actually the target of the government.
60 million is a target. Good to know. Thank you very much for that update. Maricel Halili reporting to us live from Mandaluyong this morning. Senator Ping Lacson named Health Secretary Francisco Duque III as the official who, quote, dropped the ball in acquiring the Pfizer vaccine. In a statement, Lacson said we could have secured the delivery of 10 million Pfizer vaccines as early as January if not for the indifference of Secretary Duque. Lacson explained that Duque supposedly failed to work on the confidentiality disclosure agreement, which was necessary for the deal. Although he admits that the negotiation with Pfizer is still ongoing, the lawmaker said this is a renewed initiative after missing their first chance. On the other hand, the DOH secretary insists that there was no such thing as dropping the ball. Duque explained that the government only went through the process of iteration or reviewing the conditions of the contracts to ensure that there were no onerous provisions in the deal.
On the day that this was given to me, submitted to me, I signed it already. So there is no such a thing as somebody dropping the ball. It is really an ongoing negotiation, and now our vaccine czar has also signed.
And Reuters reports that an international team is expected to go to China in the first week of January to investigate the origins of the coronavirus disease. The World Health Organization will lead the probe following calls from countries and health experts to identify the source of the virus. A team of 12 to 15 international experts will be leaving for Wuhan to examine human and animal evidence collected by Chinese researchers. The team also plans to talk to market workers to understand how they first contracted the virus. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Shawn Yao. We are One News.